Hello guys, welcome to iTutor Academy. In today's session, we will start with the national income of Unit 2, that is MMBC 003. The health and well-being of an economy can be judged by the amount of total income that the citizen of the economy are earning. National income accounts help us to understand the growth and trajectory of the economy. The figure of national income accounting (NIA) are used to make international comparisons. It shows how our country is doing economically in relation to other countries. The planning process of any country is heavily dependent on these numbers. The interrelationship between different players in the economy can be better understood in the light of these estimates. In the NIA, gross domestic product, that is GDP, is one of the most essential components. The entire series of national income revolves around this component. Most importantly, figures of national income are derived from the figure of GDP. So, to understand national income, it is essential to understand this component. Before we move further, few points about GDP needs to be understood. First, it is the market value of final goods and services. So GDP is the market value of final goods and services. Market value is reflected as market prices, and market prices indeed represent the willingness to pay by the consumers. So the value of goods and services are reflected by market price. Second, it includes only the value of the final goods. It means that the intermediate goods are excluded when calculating GDP. It is because to avoid the problem of double counting. Third, goods and services produced by the residents of the country within the boundaries of the country are included. Fourth, it measures the value of production which take place within the specific time period, usually fiscal year of a quarter. So there is an example, you just go through that example in your material. So different concept related to national income. Gross national product or GNP, it is the market value of all final goods and services produced in the year along with the net factor income from abroad, that is NFIA. NFIA is the difference between factor income received like rent, interest and profit from abroad and factor income paid abroad. GNB is equal to GDP plus NFIA. Net national product or NNP, it is the market value of all final goods and services produced by country citizens both domestically and internationally in a given period. NNP is indeed national income that is available to the economy for consumption and investment. NNP divided by total population gives per capita income. NNP is equal to GNP minus depreciation. Next is net domestic product, that is NDP, is equal to, it refers to the economic output of the country adjusted for depreciation or consumption of fixed capital. NDP is equal to GDP minus depreciation. Okay, you just make sure this definition, and it is very easy, but you just take care of the what is GNP, what is NNP, NDP, GDP, everything you should be make understand. Okay. Market price, that is MP. When any measure of national income like NNP is calculated at a market price, it includes the cost of production and also various taxes, that is subsidies, which are imposed and provided by the government. Net indirect tax is the difference between indirect tax like goods and services taxes or GST, value added taxes, that is VAT, and subsidies. NNP in market price, that is MP denoted here. NNP plus net indirect taxes, that is NIT. And next is factor price, FP. In contrast to market price, factor price excludes the effect of NIT. NNP in factor price is equal to NNP in market price minus NIT. Next is personal income. Personal income is the income which an individual or households receive from all the sources before paying taxes. It includes income from factor services like wages, rent and interest along with the transfer payment. Payments like pensions, social security benefits. The personal income include transfer payment which is not included in national income. Disposable income, it is income that left with the individuals after paying taxes and other compulsory payments to the government. It is the actual amount of money that is in the hands of the individual for consumption and other expenditure. Disposal income is equal to personal income minus taxes plus fees plus fines. Okay. Different approaches of estimating national income. There are three approaches of measuring national income, namely, one is product method or value added method, next is income method, and next is expenditure method. There is one common thing about these three methods: the figure of GDP will be the same irrespective of any method which you use in estimating national income. So, let us see the product method or value added method. Under the value added method, GDP is calculated by the sum total of gross value added of all the fame in the economy. Value added by a single fame is obtained by the subtracting value of intermediate goods from the value of output. Okay, and next is, here is one equation: NDP is equal to GDP minus depreciation. Okay, you just go through the all details from your material. And similarly, we can estimate the value of net value added as net value added is equal to gross value product minus depreciation. So, if we add up the net value added of every good produces, we arrive at a national output. Next is income method. In the production process, the producer makes use of factor of production, namely land, labor, capital and entrepreneur. In return for their services rendered, they receive rent, wages, interest and profit combinedly called factor payment. Under the income method, national income is measured by aggregating these factors income generated by different producing units within the domestic territory of the country in one fiscal year. And NDP in factor price is equal to compensation of employees plus rent plus interest plus profit plus mixed income of self-employed. Further adding net factor income from abroad, that is NFIA, difference between factor income which is received from abroad and paid abroad, gives the value of the net national product at a factor cost, that is national income. NNP in factor cost is equal to NDP in factor cost plus NFIA. Expenditure method. Under the expenditure method of estimating GDP, the demand side of the product is looked at. GDP is the sum total of all the expenditure made on the final goods and services within the country. Okay, there is one equation for summarize the GDP as. Okay, and in this equation, CIGX, okay, M stands for, C is a private consumption expenditure. Okay, I is investment made by households and business. G is government expenditure, X is exports of goods and services, M is imports of goods and services. Next is major component of expenditure method. Private consumption expenditure, okay, that it includes expenditure by the household on both durable and non-durable goods along with the different services. Next is investment or gross fixed capital formation. It includes expenditure undertaken by both household and government for investment purpose. And the third one is government expenditure. Expenditure undertaken by the government on the purchase of goods and services along with the expenditure on building infrastructure, payment for salaries, etc. Next one is net export. It is the difference calculated by subtracting total import from total export. It represents the contribution of the foreign sectors to the GDP. Next is some precautions while estimating national income. Following items must be excluded while measuring national income. First one is the expenditure of intermediate goods and services, otherwise it will encounter the problem of double counting. And transfer payment like a scholarship, pension, etc. And income earned from second hand goods and income from sales of shares, bonds, windfall gain like lotteries. Okay, these are excluded from the measuring of national income. Okay, so it's very important portion, national income. You can expect a question from this side. And next one is inflation. In this section, you will study the meaning of inflation, different methods of measurement and how does it affect different section and dimension of an economy. Definition of inflation. One of the most daunting tasks before economists is to define inflation, as there are multitudes of problems in pinning down one definition. Therefore, there is no universal definition for this problem. Many economists have given different definition like according to Colburn, Inflation can be understood as a situation whereby too much money chases too few goods. A situation in which the value of money falls and price rises is inflation according to Crowther. These and other definitions have one or another deficiency. Economists are unanimous that inflation refers to the persistent and appreciable rise in the general price level. However, the word persistent and appreciable are not clearly defined, so there is space for ambiguity. For example, whether the rate of price rise by 1%, 5% or 30% is considerable, or there is some other rate which is deemed to be considerable. Next is different methods of measuring inflation. There are two common methods of measuring inflation. First one is changes in price index number, that is PIN, gross national product, that is GNP deflator. Change in price index number, that is PIN. The rate of inflation can be estimated by measuring the change in the price index number. The formula for this change is rate of inflation, that is equal to PIN, and you just go through the these are the price index numbers in the current and preceding year. Okay. Let us assume the consumer price index, that is CPI, on March 31 that 2020 was 300 and it increased to 320 on March 31 2021. Then the rate of inflation on 2020 to 2021 will be, that is there is a calculation. Okay, that is an example of this, how the equation works. GNP deflator. GNP deflator or known as GNP implicit price deflator, as it is not directly obtained like a CPI and WPI, it is called implicit. It can be obtained by the following formula. Nominal GNP is the GNP at the prevailing price and real GNP is at a constant price of the base year. Out of these two indexes, the GNP deflator is considered to be better because of its broadest coverage. Next is different type of inflation. The major type of inflations are creeping or moderate inflation, galloping inflation and hyperinflation. So let's say the creeping or moderate inflation. Generally, when the rate of inflation is single digit, it is termed as the creeping or moderate rate of inflation. This type of inflation is mostly expected by both consumer and producer and they plan economic activities accordingly. Next is galloping inflation. When inflation is in the double triple digit range a year, it is termed as galloping. This type of inflation erodes the savings of the economy and has a disastrous effect on the fixed income group. Next is hyperinflation. This is one of the most dangerous forms of inflation in which price rise by more than 50% a month. During this period, paper currency loses its value drastically and current note of biggest possible denomination are printed. World history is full of many examples when economies witnessed the episode of hyperinflation. For example, in Germany, the wholesale price index increased by 100 million% between December 1922 and November 1923. Cause of inflation. The main causes of inflation are clubbed under two major headings. One is demand pull inflation, next is cost push inflation. Demand pull inflation. According to demand pull inflation, the main cause of inflation is the increase in demand or aggregate demand in Keynesian terms. According to Keynes, aggregate demand consists of four major components, that is consumption, investment, government expenditure and next export. Okay, and next is cost push inflation. The increase in the cost of production is the major cause of cost push inflation. Whenever the cost of production increases, producer tends to shift the burden of this increase in forms of higher prices onto consumers. An increase in money wages due to pressure of trade unions, decrease in supply of raw material, increase in the price of input like raw material, etc. are some of the major constituents of cost push inflation. Next is effects of inflation. Inflation affects almost all the economic agents of the economy, be it consumer, producer or government. The favorable or unfavorable effect depends upon the rate of inflation. In this section, you will understand how does it impact the distribution of income and wealth, producers, wage earners, borrowers and lenders and some other segments of the economy. Next one is impact on income distribution. How will inflation affect income and wealth distribution depends upon the price of the output which the producer produces and the price of the input like labor and land. If output prices rise more than input price, then income will be distributed in the favor of the producer or the profit earner or the employer. Next is deterioration in the value of money. Inflation erodes the purchasing power of money. It implies that the real wages or real income decline with a rise in price. For example, let us suppose that the price of good X was Rs 10 per piece and you have Rs 500 as your money income. So, if you spend your entire income on good X, you could buy 50 units per piece. Okay, now keeping other things constant, the price of good X rise to Rs 20 per piece. Now then the same money 500 can fetch you only 25 units. Okay, you just go through this example, then you will clear more good. Okay, impact on borrowers and lenders. It is the borrowers who tend to gain due to the inflation and lenders lose. Now suppose you are a borrower and you borrow money at the prevailing rate of inflation. Now when you repay the same amount to your lender, no doubt you are paying the same amount with the rate of interest, but the real value of money has reduced. Method of timing inflation. Monetary policy is one of the policy option and direct method of controlling inflation. Reserve Bank of India makes use of monetary policy to regulate the supply of credit in the market. Okay. So that's about today's session, and the summary of this unit is, this unit has given a detailed account of economic growth and development. A clear understanding of the difference between economic growth and development is of paramount importance. The different theories of growth as discussed in the preceding section has equipped us with ideas as to variable like savings, investment, capital accumulation, human capital are necessary for the economy to achieve higher level of growth. Similarly, the unit discussed in detail about GDP and national income and the various methods with which the national income estimate can be calculated. The value added method calculates national income from the production side. Income method combines the factors of income like wages, rent, interest and profit along with the income received from abroad to arrive at national income figures. The expenditure method takes the root of the expenditure side of the economy to calculate national income. In the last section of the unit, you have learned about meaning of inflation. The different method of measuring inflation like CPI, WPI and GNP, deflator, along with the various reasons for inflation and the effect of inflation on income distribution, wage earners, fixed income group, borrowers and lenders. Okay. So keywords are here from this unit, and assessment, self-assessment questions also there. You just answer these questions for your practice section, and it will help you to answer a better answer in your final exam. Highlight the major assumption of the Harrod-Domar model of economic growth. Next one is, what are the major conclusions of Solow model of economic growth, and what are the major ideas of endogenous growth theory. Fourth one is, differentiate between galloping and hyperinflation, and last question is, explain some of the methods of estimating inflation. We now just covered the inflation part. Okay, so this is about today's session. If you have any doubt, you can comment it on our comment box or you can contact our contact number also. Thank you so much.
iTutor ES presents IGNO MBA, complete syllabus coverage classes and individual semester base, subject coverage program for MBA students online and flexible sessions. For more details, contact 62382 17885.